could you imagine that the very doctor that warned the world about the coronavirus, he himself has now succumbed to the illness. We are told by at least on a report on CNN, that he first sent out the warning to a social media group, and when the Chinese authorities learned about this, he was contacted by the police and he was asked not to spread these kind of dangerous rumors. Well, what they thought were rumors, or maybe they knew otherwise, have now turned out to be the coronavirus that has now killed over 800 people. And the world basically is scared about what lay ahead, which is anyone's guess. You know, when I saw that this 34-year-old doctor, in trying to treat someone with the illness, succumbed to the same illness himself, I'm reminded of the story way back in the Garden of Eden, where Eve, having eaten of the fruit that she was not supposed to eat of, brought that fruit to her husband Adam, and he, knowing very well what the results were going to be, he partook of the fruit. In his mind, it's as if he was saying, well, I prefer to die than to live without you. It's interesting that in Romans chapter 5, Paul refers to Jesus as being the second Adam. And the same way in which Adam voluntarily decided, well, I'm going to die along with Eve, that is the same way in which Jesus volunteered to take on man's sin and to die in man's place. You know, Jesus was only 33 and a half years old, maybe 6 months less than Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee is now being hailed as a hero on social media. Thousands and thousands of people are hailing him because he made the ultimate sacrifice, and he was brave enough to warn the world about the coronavirus outbreak. But Jesus, you know, is in this case the real hero, because Dr. Lee, his death cannot provide healing to anyone else. He might have saved many because of his warning and bringing it in attention, but Jesus Christ's death, on the other hand, brought healing from sin. He was willing to partake of that sin. It's as if he came as a doctor and he himself succumbed to the same disease that he came to cure. He voluntarily took on our sin. I don't think Dr. Lee, if he knew that he could have died from that illness, that he would have treated the patient the same way. You know, he would have made sure and covered himself and protect himself from the disease. But Jesus, he died voluntarily, and he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He's enthroned in heaven now because of the great sacrifice that he paid. So it is sad that this young 34-year-old could have succumbed to this disease of the coronavirus. But thank God that Jesus succumbed to my sin so that he can bring forth an eternal cure.